It's the Sealy Model Closeout Event at Sleep Outfitters. Find savings up to 70% off discontinued models, showroom samples, and overstocked inventory, like Sealy Queen Sets as low as $2.99 and Sealy Pillow Top Queen Sets with gel foam just $4.99. 2015 Sealy models are arriving soon, and all discontinued models must be sold. Ask us about free delivery and special financing. Save big on our best-selling mattress brand during the Sealy Model Closeout Event this week at Sleep Outfitters.
Hello and welcome back to the Bernard Pollard Show. We are here live in Sleep Outfitters in Cool Springs. Thanks for being here, everybody. And this is the portion where we go ahead and take a couple questions from Twitter and also a few from our audience. So we're going to start with a question from Twitter. And this one was submitted from Johnny Cruz, who's at Cruz40. And he says, does Bernard think the Titans are a playoff contender? Yes or no?
I have to go with yes. And I'm willing to bet my money that we are a playoff contender, and our mission is kill, go with Super Bowl.
I've heard that before, I think.
I like it. What about you guys, David and Jim? Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Jim, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of need to see it to believe it because it's been, I guess, since 2008 since this team's been to a playoff game, and I guess since 2003 since this organizations won a playoff game. I certainly think the talent's there. I think the coaching staff is better, and we'll have this team better prepared than certainly last year. You guys just need to get some momentum, obviously, get some confidence with them young guys, get the quarterback playing well, and I certainly think the schedule will give you a chance to have a run in the second half of the season.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Now we are joined by one of our audience members. You want to come up here? Oh, this was a trivia player as well. So go ahead and remind us who you are and go ahead and ask your question.
My name is Bill Weller. I was particularly interested in the field at Cincinnati. It seemed like all sorts of people, both sides, both the Titans and the Bengals, were slipping much more than usual. Was there a particular reason for that?
Well, I think when you play on turf, a lot of these teams that have turf fields, they're putting a lot of those rubber. I don't even know what they call the little rubber things down there. And so, for us as players, when we have molded cleats, running across that, we're slipping a lot. But we can't allow that to be an excuse. But that it does play a factor in our gameplay.
Dalaine, I know Kendall Wright slipped a few times. How did you keep your footing? Because I don't think you had as many issues with the turf as some players.
Well, we talked about it before we got there that the turf will be slippery. So I went out there and I brung about 6 pairs of cleats just to, make sure I didn't slip. And I slept once with a pair of cleats, so I switched them in. All you got to do is you really just get your head over your toes. If you was trying to look back before you broke, you probably was going to slip. Because it was a pretty slippery surface. Like you said, they had a lot of rubber balls in there, and it was kind of fluffy, so it didn't really grip a lot.
You guys rather play on turf or grass?
Grass.
No question.
Definitely, grass is better for the knees, the ankles, for all of that. For players, once you play on that turf, you feel it in everywhere in your body because it just doesn't give like grass will.
How about like at Oakland when you're playing grass and dirt?
They need to blow that place up.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, now we're going to take another question from Twitter. This one is from Brandon Leedy, which is at Bleedy17. He says, are all players on defense comfortable running Ray Horton's new defense, or is everyone still getting used to it?
I think, I have to say that guys are still getting used to this defense. It's a big transition from a 4-3 to a 3-4. We're asking you to do a couple different things, and the responsibilities change. And then the positions have changed for some guys. But, nevertheless, we are all professionals. We had all offseason to fix that, to understand what they wanted from us, to change your body type if they ask you to. And it's time for us to just go play. It's no excuses. I'm not going to give you any. It's time for us to step up and show out.
Great, thank you. Okay, here's another question from our audience. Tell me who you are, and go ahead and ask your question.
I'm Penny Kennedy, and this is a toss-up. Which of you can tell me which former Titan blew out his knee doing the double check?
That's a trivia question for you.
disc
The discount
That
double
was
check.
Tulloch.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And would you guys do that?
Yeah,
Because
you
a
said
lot.
that.
Would you guys do that?
I'm not a big.
Celebrate?
Yeah, the celebration. I'm gonna celebrate with talking mess, and that's how I celebrate. Other than that, I ain't got no dance moves for you unless you piss me off, and then I'm gonna give you something else. So we'll see.
Great question. Okay, we've got another one from our audience. Come on up here and introduce yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, I'm Sean Lepton. A lot has been made in the preseason about the tight officiating with illegal contact downfield. I'm curious now, 3 games into the regular season, have you noticed a change compared to last season, and how have you guys adjusted your play due to that?
Well, we can adjust all we want to. They're going to make the calls that they make, and I know, speaking from the defensive side of the ball, I think it's just still off. It's not consistent, and we can say it's not fair, but this is something that the refs have to get used to as well. The game is played so much faster than you're watching film, and they have to watch the film and then come. Game day, it's so much faster than that, and you're watching so much more than just the overview of a TV screen. So I know for the defensive side of the ball, I think the calls need to be more consistent. If you look at the game on Saturday, they made a couple calls down the field on a couple of our players that it really wasn't. And so that's just speaking from the defensive side of the ball. I know with Dalaine, he's going to get a couple calls because he's a big body that can run, and a lot of guys can't put their hands on him. And it's just a tough matchup for a lot of people who will pull and grab because they're not used to seeing the speed and the size combined in a player like that.
Very good. All right, guys, do you have any closing thoughts? Delaney, any thoughts on the game upcoming?
We just got to we got to go out there. We got to make plays. It's time for us to show the Titan fans that we do have a great team, and we got to show it. Just like he said, people ain't gonna believe it until they see it. So just like we talked about, we got to go out there and make plays. When Jake put that ball in the air, everybody got to make plays for him, man. We can't just leave him out there by himself to win games. It takes all 11 of us out there. And, our defense keeps us in the game. We just got to put points on the board and help them out both ways.
All right, very good. And with that, thank you, Delaney. Thank you, Bernard. Thank you to David and Jim and John. And thank you all for being here at Sleep Outfitters today. We really appreciate it. We're going to be back next week down at Moe's Barbecue in Cool Springs. And until then, we'll see you. Thank you.